I am a free thinker. You've probably heard the term free thinker. You probably even know that it's assumed to be a good thing. You might even consider yourself to be a free thinker. Most people do. I even considered most people to be free thinkers at one stage in my life. But now that I'm older and have more life experience, I realized that true free thinkers are incredibly rare. I don't have any statistics on this, and I don't think there is any, but it's very likely you could walk into a room full of 20 people and not find a single free thinker. So what is free thought, and where did it come from? Now, there would have been free thinkers prior to this, but the moment in human history where free thinking exploded and took off was during the Enlightenment in Europe. Free thought was something that came out of the Enlightenment, using logic and reason to determine truth. The scientific method was born out of free thinking and is a framework of it. In fact, scientists are where you can find some of the highest concentrations of free thinkers within a society. Now you may be thinking, that's me. I use logic and reason to determine truth, but there's more to it. Simply using logic and reason to determine truth is not enough. You need to do it consistently. The problem is we are emotional creatures and we have what are known as psychological pitfalls and biases. And so, although I can guarantee that everybody to some degree uses logic and reason to determine truth in their life, most people only do it when it's convenient. Free thinking is not a sign of intelligence. There are a lot of intelligent people who are not free thinkers. Instead, free thinking is a sign of intellectual honesty. I used to think there were a lot of stupid people in the world. And yes, idiots do exist. But it turns out it's not a lack of intelligence, but that most people are intellectually dishonest. So what do I mean by this? It's a mindset. People always say they value the truth, but often it's only valued when it is what people want it to be. When the facts are not what they want them to be or do not support their worldview, people ignore or deny them, while simultaneously cherry-picking the data that affirms what they want the truth to be, rather than what the truth actually is. Free thinkers value and accept truth even when it's not what they want it to be. A popular metaphor which describes this dichotomy is the concept of red pill, blue pill. It originates from the movie The Matrix, where Neo is given the option between two pills. The blue pill will allow him to continue living in a fake but comfortable dream, or the red pill which will wake him up to a true but unpleasant reality. So many people live in a fantasy because facing reality is too unbearable. I'll give a couple of examples. The first is religion. The greatest of human fears is death. Not just that we will die, but that all of our loved ones will, and we will never see them again. Although all throughout human history, people have conjured beautiful lies that death is not final and that we will one day see our loved ones again. But the reality is there is no evidence of this other than stories. The truth that death is most likely the end of us is ugly and scary. I was raised Christian, but I am now an atheist as a result of me being a free thinker. I would love for there to be an afterlife, believe me. I don't want death to be the end. That is what I desire the truth to be. But I understand that simply wanting something to be true does not make it so. Being a free thinker is what led me to become an atheist. There is even an association between free thinking and atheism. Pretty much all free thinkers are atheists, but it turns out the correlation only goes one way. This is something that took me many years to realize. It's like saying all tigers are cats, but not all cats are tigers. All free thinkers are atheists, but not all atheists are free thinkers. In fact, only a small portion of atheists are atheists because they are free thinkers. The same way that most people who believe religion do because of a motivation, most people reject religion because of a motivation. The most common of these motivations, at least in regards to Christianity in the West, is not being straight. Christianity is preventing them from living their life in the way they desire, so they discard it, or for any other lifestyle that Christianity deems sinful. These people have no problem accepting the fact that religion doesn't make logical sense because it aligns to support their worldview. This is what I mean when I said most people are only logical when it's convenient, when the conclusion doesn't contradict what they already convinced themselves is true. On the other side of the left-right spectrum, you have trans ideology, which was created for the same reason religion was. It is a comfortable lie that reaffirms what a group of people would like to be true. Trans ideology cannot make sense without denying basic truth. For the same reason queer people use logic to discredit religion, religious people use logic to discredit trans ideology. Free thinkers typically do both, irrespective of what we would like the truth to be. The flaw in reasoning many people make is they begin with a conclusion they want to believe is true, and then seek evidence that supports it. Because you have already convinced yourself this is true, any counter-evidence must be false, so is rejected without consideration. Free thinkers do not start with a conclusion. We start with the facts and follow them to wherever they lead. Free thinkers are often also called independent thinkers because we do not follow a crowd. While most people can be considered either conservative or liberal, free thinkers are often one and also the other depending on the topic. We could be conservative on one issue while being liberal on another. This is because we do not follow people or trends. We assess the facts and independently come to our own conclusions. You would assume that we would all come to different conclusions, and this is sometimes true, especially relating to topics that are subjective. But since we are all being influenced by and accepting the same facts, free thinkers typically agree on most things. An exception to this is if somebody is uninformed or misinformed. To outsiders, it may appear that we are all in a bubble and following each other like sheep, same as most liberals and conservatives do. But it only looks this way because most of the time we arrive at the same conclusions. But we arrive there independently, not because we want to fit in with other free thinkers. Actually, Joe Rogan, who is likely the most well-known person who is a free thinker, has a joke about this, how both left and right ideologies come as package deals. There's no such thing as being partly on a team. You've got to be all the way or you won't be accepted.
And I get why the young people want to be woke. I really do. The old people have fucked up the world. Let's try communism. I get it. You don't know any better. I get it. And also, people desperately want to be on a team. We're tribal. And there's only two teams in this country. There's the left and the right. You know, you don't want to be independent. You don't want to be that weird dude at the bar telling everybody that gold is the only legitimate currency and all tax is theft. That's me. If you get me drunk, I will be annoying. I will tell you some shit you already know. So I understand why people want to be on a team. So you just try to find a team that aligns with your values, right? Like, what does your team believe? We believe that healthcare is a basic human right. I agree. We think that education should be free. Me too. And men can get pregnant. Fuck! Is that a package deal? How did that one slip through?
Another factor preventing most people from being free thinkers is ego, also known as pride. Being seen to be wrong about something will make you look foolish, so most people will avoid being wrong at all costs, even if it means being dishonest. Rather than accepting when they're wrong, most people will double down and retreat further into their position. This, in psychology, is what's known as the backfire effect, because for a social species, appearing to be correct is more important than actually being correct. The truth is, we are all wrong about some things, but a free thinker will admit when they are and change their mind when proven wrong. And I sincerely mean this. I will admit and acknowledge when I am wrong about something, and I will change my mind about things as I become more informed. This is something most people are incapable of. Free thinkers never assume with complete certainty we are correct about anything. We never assume to know everything. My position on any topic could be wrong because I could be ignorant about something. This is actually one of the ways free thinkers are easily spotted by other free thinkers. A free thinker will not be trying to win an argument. Instead, we are trying to determine truth. And the person we are talking to might be correct. You have to go into a discussion not with the mindset of it's me versus you, I'm right, you're wrong, and I need to prove it, but with the intention of getting to the bottom of the truth, whether you are the person with the truth or the person you're having the discussion with is the person with the truth. It's not about winning or defeating them. It's about finding out who is correct and being able to admit and accept when you are not the person who is correct, and then adopt the position or the proof of the person who is presenting it if they turn out to be true. This means admitting you are wrong and discarding your incorrect position. Ask questions and sincerely listen to what they have to say. Don't assume they're wrong. Maybe they know something you don't. Maybe you're the one that's uninformed, but you will never know if you're not sincerely listening. There's actually a name for this. It's called steel manning. If you cannot accurately describe your opponent's position, then you do not sincerely understand it. Oftentimes, if we consider a topic to be important, we will audit ourselves. Go online and check for yourself to see if there's any counterpoints to your position. Check to see if there are counterpoints to the counterpoints. While most people who disagree with each other can end an argument still disagreeing with each other, free thinkers usually come out the other side agreeing on something, because one of the two has changed their mind after hearing a new perspective that they have not yet considered. So, are you a free thinker or are you not? Leave a comment and let me know. Otherwise, stay honest, and I'll see you in the next one.